Hello and welcome to podcast number 3. Once again, I just want to say a huge thank you to all of you who got in touch, shared messages with me, shared out the podcast. It is just brilliant to know that people are listening. Hopefully now most of you will have subscribed on your chosen app, so the podcast should be appearing in your feed when I publish them. It's easy to do and it's the best way to keep up to date. There are many ways to be able to connect in with spirit, and your own way of connecting is always going to be the best way for you. I'll be exploring that idea more in the weeks ahead. If you're just starting out, then I want to be able to give you a good grounding on how to start your own journey. Firstly, and most importantly for me, is this. To work with spirit, it is a great joy and privilege. It is a spiritual experience and should be treated as such. It should be approached with an attitude of respect and even reverence to get the most out of it. We are connecting into something much bigger than ourselves, and we should be respectful of that. I'm always a little wary of those who don't. As some of you know, I am an accredited spiritual life coach, and my own background is firmly rooted in the Western monastic traditions. For me, there is something very spiritual, very uplifting about getting up on a cold, frosty morning to shuffle off to chapel to say matins, and use the office of Compline to round off the day is just perfect, and it was always my favourite out of the offices. I'm not saying that this is the way it should be, far from it. Since I've been out of the monasteries, I've come across many ways of connecting into spirit and into source. But the idea of discipline, respect, quiet and routine has stayed with me and forms the basis of my own spiritual practice today. It's thanks to the monasteries that I learnt the concept of meditation, which is where we're going to have a look at today. Meditation is the basis of any spiritual work. It is the art of just being in the moment, quieting down the mind, and just breathing in the peace and quiet. Modern Western life is so hard to navigate. You have 1,001 things pulling at your attention, demanding that they get done and get done right now. Just to take 5 minutes out of your day and allow your head to quieten down and just allow you to be in the moment is perhaps one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. So how do you do it? Like a lot of things, it's really pretty simple and easy to do. Just settle yourself down somewhere comfortable and be quiet and breathe. Just allow the thoughts to bub up to the surface, acknowledge them and let them go. Breathing is the key component of this work. It's easy, you've been doing it all your life, but it's so easily overlooked. Just breathe. You don't have to try to slow it down or to take deep breaths, just allow yourself to breathe. A good place to start is to count them. Count 1 on the in-breath and 2 on the out-breath. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Feel yourself start to relax and just breathe. Just practice that for a little while. Now you've got that bit, you can start to add things into your meditations. If you have a mind, you can use guided meditations. They're a good place to start for someone who's just starting out. There are a lot of apps and books, CDs, podcasts, YouTube videos that you can use to help you get going. I've always been a bit wary of the apps though. they tend to charge the earth for yearly subscriptions, but use the free sessions that they do to get you started. It's always best in spiritual things to keep away from anything that charges a vast amount, be that treatments, readings, meditations, workshops. 9 times out of 10, someone is trying to raid the money tree rather than teach out anything that might be helpful. Guided meditations are good, and I do use them. You have to find the one that works for you though. I hate guided meditations that take forever to get you anywhere. I'm usually halfway up the mountain when the soft voice guider is still taking her shoes and socks off to paddle in the stream I passed a good 5 minutes ago. So look around and choose the one that works for you at the pace that you work. Another method, and this is the one that I was taught, is to read a little section of a story before you settle. In my case it was a Bible story, being as I was in the monasteries at the time, but anything spiritual will do. As you start to drift off and relax, then imagine what it would have been like to be there at the time, when Jesus came through the city gates, riding on the donkey, heading off to the Last Supper with his disciples, or what it would have been like to be sat at the feet of the Buddha as he gave out his latest teaching and his latest meditation. There are lots of examples that you can use, and it is a good way to get going. Using music or some sort of soundtrack is also very good practice. I use music because some of the best meditations I've ever had have been when I've sat in a wood listening to the birdsong, or sat on the beach on a summer's evening when all the day trippers have gone home, just listening to the waves gently come in and out. It helps me keep the focus. Once you are used to being in the quiet and just being in the moment, then you can use that connection to get in touch with spirit guides, loved ones in spirit. You can astral travel and even remote view places and people. In time, you'll be able to do these things by just focusing your mind, without the meditation part. And that's what most of us psychics and mediums are doing. Using the focus we have learnt through meditation to connect in with the universe and with spirit world. So that's why it's important to get your meditation practice in and keep it going. The experts say you should be aiming for 20 minutes a day, but that is on a very good day. Most days I manage 10 to 15 minutes before I call it a day. Just a note on where you can meditate. There is no right or wrong way, as long as you're warm and comfortable, which is probably why I tend to meditate in the bath at the end of the day. But a sunny park bench will do just as well. If your tradition demands that you sit cross-legged in front of your altar, then that is okay too. And yeah, I sometimes do that as well. The important thing is to get into a regular habit of setting aside the time to do it. On that note, candles and incense can be really helpful in setting the mood and intention of the meditation. I sometimes find that if I just can't get the connection, then gazing into the flame of a candle can be all that I need to make the connection work that night. Okay, so back to basics. Settle yourself somewhere warm and comfy, where it'll be quiet, or put in your headphones just so that you're in the quiet. Start to settle your breathing. Remember to breathe normally for you. Don't try and alter your breathing rate, just allow your lungs to do what they do naturally. Count 1 on the in-breath and count 2 on the out-breath. 1 on the in and 2 on the out. 1 on the in and 2 on the out. If your mind starts to get crowded with thoughts, then just bring your attention back to your breathing and start again. It doesn't matter if you need to start over. Just allow your breathing to relax you and feel the stresses of the day work its way out of your system. Now just sit in the moment for a while and allow yourself to be quiet and connected. When you're ready, slowly bring yourself back to where you are sitting and wiggle your toes. Allow yourself to come back to where you are. And that's it. It's as simple as that. In the months to come, I'll look at how to use that moment to connect in with the universe and spirit. But for now, your homework is just to get used to being in that quiet, stress-free moment. There are lots of other forms of meditation, and mindfulness meditations are a good way to reduce your stress and anxiety levels. and ones that have benefited me enormously over the past 18 months. Another one of my favourite meditations is what's known as an active meditation. Go for a walk, preferably somewhere quiet, a nice wood, bit of countryside. And as you walk, just remember your breathing. Just be still and quiet in that inner peace. It really is a lovely way to meditate, and it does make a change from sitting cross-legged on your floor or being in your bath. I hope you've enjoyed this week's podcast, and as always, please do get in touch with your messages either through the main website at www.spiritways.co.uk, through Facebook Messenger, or through Twitter. It is really great and always to hear from you all. This week's Monday meeting at the Warren Centre for Rachel's Reiki and Beyond and Spirit Ways is our spiritual chit chat group, and this week we'll be looking at animal guides, so do please pop along and come and join us if you're free. Week after that will be development group, and me and Rachel have already started to plan for that group ahead. Have a brilliant week, everybody, and until then, may the goddess watch over you and your loved ones. Love and light.